Welcome aboard, I'm Captain Wayne Canning. As a marine surveyor, I'm often asked just what is a marine surveyor, what does a marine surveyor do, and why does anybody need a marine survey? These are all very good questions, and that's the reason I'm making this video, to hopefully answer some of these questions. Anybody hiring a marine surveyor should have a pretty clear understanding of just exactly what a marine survey is and what a marine surveyor does. Marine survey is basically just an inspection of a boat, checking over the hull, the structure, the systems, and all of the equipment on board. The idea is to evaluate the condition of anything and find any major defects. There are several reasons somebody would want a survey. Primarily is a pre-purchase survey. And a pre-purchase survey is done for somebody buying a boat. They want to fully understand the condition of the boat, and a marine surveyor will help them do this. The next most common type of survey is an insurance survey. This is a little less thorough than a pre-purchase survey, but nonetheless covers a fairly thorough inspection of the boat. Other types of surveys may include just a simple hull survey, an engine survey, or even a damage claim survey. All of these vary greatly in the detail and scope of what the surveyor is doing. In a pre-purchase survey, the surveyor will inspect the hull, the deck, and the internal structure that supports the hull and the deck. They will also go through all of the equipment on board, inspecting the electrical system, the plumbing system, any rigging involved. They'll also look over the motor and its system, check over the fuel system, check over the exhaust system, the controls, the steering, all of these items that make up the boat. They'll also check over additional equipment, such as electronics and generators and any other miscellaneous equipment. They'll also check the vessel's safety equipment, life rafts, life vests, flares, everything that's required by the Coast Guard. During a pre-purchase survey, the surveyor will inspect not only the hull and systems, but they'll also take the boat out on a water trial to make sure that the boat performs according to published specifications. They'll check over the engine and make sure that it's running properly and that all of its systems are functioning correctly. If the boat's a sailboat, they'll also check over the sailing gear, make sure that the sails go up and down or roll in and out and everything functions the way it should. They'll check the steering system, make sure that's performing correctly, and they'll also check the electronics while underway to make sure everything's functioning the way it should. They'll also want to take the boat out of the water to inspect the hull below the waterline and check any running gear or keel or anything else below the waterline. The next type of survey is the insurance survey, and as mentioned, this is required by most insurance companies these days, particularly for older and larger boats. The insurance survey is a thorough inspection of the boat, but it's not quite as complete as a pre-purchase survey. In most cases, during an insurance survey, the surveyor won't take the boat out for a water trial. They may just fire up the motor and generators and other equipment at the dock without actually taking the boat out. And in many cases, the insurance companies don't require the boat be lifted out of the water for an underwater inspection, although some insurance companies do require that. It's best to check with your insurance company before contracting a marine surveyor to do an insurance survey. This way you won't have to go back and do things twice. During a hull and structure inspection, most surveyors will check over the hull and deck for any defects. These days most boats are fiberglass and many of them are cored. The coring material in the fiberglass can create problems, so the surveyor is going to try to locate any problems within the core. Most will use a moisture meter to detect any hidden moisture within the laminate. This could be an indication of a serious problem. They'll also check over the interior structure of the hull, the stringer or grid system within the hull. They'll check for any delamination and secondary bonding and any cracking or other failures within the stringer systems. Some stringer systems have a wood core. Most surveyors will check the condition of that core as well, once again using a moisture meter. You'll often see or hear a surveyor tapping on the hull and the deck. This is a way to detect delamination within the laminate. Once the hull, deck, and structure are carefully checked over, the surveyor will then begin to check systems. He or she will go through the electrical system, checking to make sure that everything meets the American Boat and Yacht Council standards. They'll check for any defects that may cause problems such as shorting or possible shock hazard. Most vessels' electrical systems are fairly complicated with a combination of both AC and DC systems, so these systems need to be checked fairly carefully. They'll also check over the plumbing system and make sure that the water system is all functioning the way it should. They'll check the boats below the waterline through hulls and hoses to make sure nothing's getting ready to fail that could cause a problem that could sink the boat. Depending upon the size and type of vessel, a survey could take anywhere from a couple of hours to an entire day or more. Of course, larger vessels are going to take longer. Once the survey is complete, a surveyor will write up a full written report. These days, most of the time, this is provided in PDF format so that it can be forwarded to banks and insurance companies. This report will give a full description of the vessel, along with a section that lists any defects or problems found during the survey. Most of the time, this section that contains the defects or anomalies are broken down into a couple of different categories. The first being major safety items or Coast Guard violations. The second being things that would be nice to fix that affect the value of the boat. And speaking of the value of the boat, that is something else a surveyor will do, is value the boat. Part of the survey process is to assign a value to the boat. Most surveyors will use the general condition of the boat along with information on what that class and type of boat are currently selling for and what boats of that type and class have recently sold for. They take all of this information and put it together to put a value on the boat. This is the value that banks and insurance companies use when providing insurance for the boat. So why should you hire a surveyor? Well, that's a pretty good question. Most people don't really fully understand the structure and systems on board their boat. It helps to have an expert look this over. Sometimes you can save tens and thousands of dollars by having somebody who knows what they're doing look over the boat and find the problems before you write that final check. I always recommend never sign acceptance of vessel until you have had a thorough survey and had a chance to review over the survey report. A good surveyor can also help educate you about the boat you're looking to buy. They'll be able to explain some of the systems to you so that you have a better understanding of what you're getting involved in. They'll also be aware of any particular problem areas on a particular make and model. Often boat buyers ask me, do you need an engine survey? Well, once again, this depends. Engine surveys are a good thing to have, particularly if you're looking at a boat with more expensive, larger diesel motors. But even in smaller boats with outboards, the engines can add up to half the value of the boat. So it's often a good idea to have an engine survey done independent of the hull survey. Most hull surveyors do not do engine surveys as well, although a lot will check the motor over during the water trial. Depending upon the engine condition, engine hours, and age of boat, I will often recommend that we do the hull survey and inspection with the water trial and check the performance data on the motors during the water trial. If any anomalies show up, that's when I will go ahead and recommend that they have a mechanic take a look at the motor. That said, I'm never going to try to talk anybody out of an engine survey either. Obviously, the more expensive the motors are to repair, the more you're going to want to have an engine survey done. Same thing with engine hours. If the engine has a lot of hours on it, you may want to have an engine survey done. Engine surveyors are going to be familiar with a particular make and model of motor that is aboard the boat you're looking at. This can be helpful because they'll know of particular problem areas to look for. They'll also have the right equipment to check the motor, including the proper software to check the motor's ECM for error codes and its history of use. All this is valuable information. Although most surveyors try to be fairly comprehensive with their inspections, there are some limitations that a boat buyer needs to understand. A surveyor is limited to just a few hours aboard the boat. There's no way they can determine everything that's wrong with the boat. Also, they're in general not allowed to take things apart. Occasionally you can remove a panel or two, but most boat owners will not allow you to start disassembling the boat to find out everything that's wrong. Also, there's some equipment that just simply cannot be tested thoroughly. Take, for example, a fuel gauge. You're on the boat for a few hours, you may take it out for a half hour to an hour, and if the tank holds, say, 500 gallons of fuel, that fuel gauge is not going to drop any at all during the water trial. So you're really not going to know if that fuel gauge works through its full range. So there are some limitations. The boat buyer needs to understand this. It is sort of a snapshot picture of the boat at the time of the survey. Things can and do change between the time the survey's done and the time the final paperwork is signed and the buyer picks up the boat. So how do you find a good surveyor to survey a boat you may be interested in? Well, the first thing you want to look for is that the surveyor belongs to either SAMS or NAMS. SAMS is the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors, and NAMS is the National Association of Marine Surveyors. Both these organizations have basic standards that their members need to follow. Most insurance companies and banks will also require that the report be written by a SAMS or NAMS surveyor. This once again is to ensure the quality of the report. That said, just being a member of an organization does not necessarily make you a good surveyor. Some surveyors are more experienced than others, and some may have more expertise in a particular type of boat than others. Some specialize in powerboats, some specialize in sailboats. It just all depends. Most marine surveyors are independent contractors and work for themselves. They don't work for a larger organization. I always recommend, if you're looking for a surveyor, to call several surveyors up and just talk to them. Ask them a few questions about their background in the marine industry, their background with the particular type of boat you're thinking of purchasing, and their general experience within the marine industry. Spend a little time talking to them and see if you feel comfortable with them. Surveyor is somebody you're going to have to feel comfortable with and trust. Not all surveyors are as good as others, so it's best to take your time and talk to them a little bit. Don't shop price alone. Even with an insurance survey, you don't want to just shop price, because it can come back to haunt you later. I often hear people say they should never use the surveyor recommended by their broker. This is true in some cases, but not so true in other cases. Good, reputable brokers will not recommend bad surveyors because they know in the end this is going to come back and give them problems. They want their customers to be satisfied, and they don't want customers coming back saying you sold me a bad boat. So they want to put the responsibility on the surveyor. Now, there are the shadier used car type salesmen out that will recommend poor surveyors just so that they can get the sale done. But you can usually spot this type fairly quickly. Going online is an excellent way to find out a little bit about a surveyor's background before you contact them. And it always pays to do a little bit of research online. These days, most surveyors are going to have a website, and many Google listings will have Google reviews as well. All of this information can be helpful in your selection of a surveyor. Many wonder about the cost of a survey, and this can vary greatly. Most surveyors will charge by the foot, and the price can range anywhere from $10 a foot to $30 a foot, depending upon the type of survey and the age and length of the vessel. a small open center console is going to cost less than a high-end catamaran. So it just varies. Also, the price will tend to vary a little bit by geographical location. Don't just shop price alone. As mentioned, this could come back to haunt you. So what exactly is the survey process? This is something a lot of new boat buyers are not familiar with, and it can be a little bit complicated. If the boat is being sold by a broker, I usually suggest you let the broker do most of the arrangements. There is a lot to consider and a lot of timing involved. You have to get the surveyor to show up on a particular date. You have to have the owner or broker available to run the boat, and if neither of them is available, you'll need to have a captain assigned to run the boat. You'll need to schedule a haul out to do the underwater inspection, and you may need to schedule an engine surveyor. Now, all this needs to happen on one particular day at a particular time. So it can get a bit complicated. This is where brokers can earn their commission. They're also familiar with scheduling all of this and working with all the different people involved. So it's a good idea to let them do most of the groundwork if possible. On the day of the survey, things usually start fairly early in the morning, with the surveyor inspecting the boat at the dock. Generally, after a couple of hours of looking over the boat at the dock, the surveyor will want to take the boat to the haul-out facility for the underwater inspection. The water trial is usually run after the boat has been inspected out of the water. This is to make sure that the bottom's clean and that there aren't any problems with the running gear or other equipment. This way the surveyor knows that the data collected during the water trial will be accurate. Once the water trial is completed, which usually takes about an hour or so, depending upon the boat is brought back to the dock where the surveyor will complete the in-water inspection. Once the inspection is complete, it takes a couple of days for the surveyor to complete the written report and send that to you. Sometimes oil samples will be taken from the motors and transmissions. These will need to be sent out for analysis as well, and this usually takes a couple of days. Once again, I recommend that you never sign acceptance of the vessel until you've had an opportunity to review over the full survey report and get the results back from any oil samples. Some brokers will push for acceptance of vessel as soon as the surveyor clears the dock, but I always recommend wait until you've had a chance to fully review over the report. If you have any questions about anything in the report or any of the problems found, call the surveyor and talk to them about it. Most surveyors can't give you prices for repairs, and this is because prices can vary wildly. You may be getting a guy just working out of the back of the truck to fix it, or you may be going to a high-end marina. It can be very difficult for a surveyor to try to price something, but they can give you an idea of whether or not something is going to be a major or minor repair. Take your time to understand what is in the survey report. I've sometimes had customers call me back saying they found a problem that was not in the report. And I've had to point out to them that yes, indeed it was in the report. They simply did not notice it. So it pays to take your time to read through and understand everything in the report. And once again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call the surveyor and talk to him about it. Hopefully this has answered most of your questions regarding a marine survey. Once again, if you do have more questions, feel free to give me a call or send me an email. I'll be glad to help you out any way I can. Good luck with the purchase of your next boat.